And thank you very much for staying on the marketplace. You're welcome back. The Private Enterprise Federation, PEF, says businesses will indeed respond to the recent tax cuts by reducing prices of goods and services. President Akufo-Addo last week gave his assent to a set of taxes that were abolished in the 2017 budget. Some oil marketing companies have already reduced prices of petroleum products. However, other firms that have benefited from these tax reviews are yet to respond. The Ghana Revenue Authority, GRA, on Monday revealed it was waiting for the necessary regulations and bills before it starts implementing cuts in import taxes at the ports. But the president of the Federation, Nana Osei-Bonsu, tells Joy Business businesses need some little more time before responding to these tax cuts.
Oh, definitely. You see, there's a kind of a reward system in the sense that if the taxes are removed, your cost of doing business had been lowered, you also have to increase your productivity and increase the quality of your services and products. There are no two ways about it, and I think businesses are going to gear up towards that. The tax cuts were initiated now, so they haven't hit the pocketbooks yet, but at least businesses are enjoying the euphoria that, yes, indeed, we're going to do better and we can improve on what we do. So businesses are not pushing now that, oh, let's go get 100% of everything that we're looking for. No, we think that the government should also be given the opportunity to do what they do, at least that they can be on good footing before they do other things that will enrich them.
Expecting that for some businesses, what are the time lag that they are going to respond to these cuts? So let me feel as a consumer. Are you saying there's any time lag, or some are saying that we are delaying too much in cutting down the cost of service because of these taxes?
I think businesses were ahead of the game. Before even the president announced the taxes, you had people in Aboblushi and the other areas reducing their prices, in the markets reducing their prices in line with what they were expecting their government to also as goodwill. Businesses are already taking the lead. So now that the taxes were removed, it's not like going back to reduce some more. It's now leveling the playing field, at least for businesses to recoup what they had reduced already. So businesses are already ahead of the game. They have done that. Of course, consumers are always looking for 100% of everything, not at least a gradual reduction. But it's all going to happen for all of us. Interest rates, we see them a little bit easing down. We haven't seen that in the bank.
Take our time. We're going to see your members respond by cutting down the cost of goods and cost of service.
Oh, of course. They're going to, once your cost of doing business is lowered, you're going to also lower your pricing. It goes hand in hand, and businesses are going to react to that effect.
And in another development, Nana Osei-Bonsu has also called for alternative sources of funding for businesses to make government's intention of making the private sector the pivot of economic development a reality.
We have been crying loud and clear over the period, and now we have an open corridor to the presidency with all the directives and statements made by himself and his team that they're going to be not only business friendly but people friendly. So it gives us the opportunity to now look at what do we need to do, what are the kind of challenges that this poses, because we also have to strategize that we have to build the capacities, we have to get the technical competencies, and we also have to seek the financial resource to be able to do. That's one angle that possibly is not going to happen overnight, but we're looking for an opportunity where there will be diverse financial products instead of the single credit system that we base on. We think if that happens, then there will be a challenge between one side of the financial spectrum versus the other side, credit versus a private equity, long-term pool of funding. The aggregation and mobilization of funding is one of the areas that we want to see the government tackle as quickly as possible to make sure that their project and agenda of making private sector the engine and the leadership to drive all this industrialization would happen.
Away from that, government is now set to start paying public sector workers through the biometric smart card eSwitch from the last quarter of this year. It follows several test runs to ensure that the platform can support the huge staff numbers in the public sector. Already, national service personnel are being paid through the eSwitch card by the World Bank. Is also paying its contractors through the card. Chief Executive Officer of the Ghana Interbank Payment and Settlement Systems, Archie Hesse, said the move is part of measures to bring some efficiency in the public wage bill.
Nobody's. See, let's try and get it. What is trying to achieve is to ensure that the rightful people are paid. So, if the e-switch system would achieve that, all the funds initially would reside in your bank account. Thereafter, you can go to your bank account and withdraw all and have it in cash. But as a country, there is in this day and age, everything is moving towards the digital era because of it's safer, it's better, and ultimately cost beneficial to the economy. Because don't forget that as we print currencies, the central bank uses a lot of our forex money to print those currencies. If we get to the stage where our reliance on cash is reduced, the amount of foreign exchange needed to be spent on printing currency also decreases. So there's a need. If you go to anywhere in the modern world, even in Africa, everybody is gravitating towards electronic payments. We shouldn't be left out. So what we are saying is that, yes, we will use the system initially to pay all your salaries into your bank account, but with time, the wish is that you would actually, since you all start paying via card, you have the opportunity to also put some onto your card. I remember when, many years ago, when England started along the same journey, you go to you are paid into your bank account. You take cash. You go to a shop, Sainsbury's, Tesco's, or whatever, and then you pay via cash. Others are paying via card. With time, we all stopped going to the ATM to withdraw cash and then go and make purchases. We take our card there and then we make payments. And then, if you need cash at minute areas where the point of sale devices are not available, you ask for cash back. With about over a year or two, there are times when you live in a month without using cash at all, because all the places that you shop at, you can use your card. This day and age, we also have the internet. You can still use your card. So everything is gravitating towards the digital era, and I think we should all move in that direction.
Meanwhile, the Bank of Ghana says it is putting in place the necessary laws to better regulate electronic and cashless transactions in the country. Following the introduction of these payment options, the required laws to meet expectations of players are yet to be instituted. But speaking to Joy Business after the Ghana Economic Outlook and Business Strategy Conference, Deputy Governor of the Central Bank, Dr. Johnson Isiama, said the current review of the Draft Payment and Services Bill will address all the concerns of industry players and also help grow the sector.
We already have the regulation in place. There's the guidelines for e-money issuers, etc. That is in place. But what we've done now is to put it all together, together with the Payment Systems Act and what have you. We call the new act the Payment Systems Act, which is now going to Cabinet and possibly should get passed very soon. In our view, the passage of this act will be a watershed, because that's going to define the future of the payment systems industry more clearer than we have right now. So we are looking forward to it. There's going to be a real, surge in momentum after the passage of the new act. All the stakeholders were involved in putting together the act. We got all of them involved. The Attorney General has reviewed it. It's just left to get to Cabinet and then to Parliament. And so we're waiting.
This regulator tech, or is it more of an incubator, as and also trying to deal with all the techs that are springing up in the sector?
That is right. The point I made was we have the aggregators now that are already at play. They have aggregated, they have more or less integrated the accounts of banks and telcos and e-money issuers. It's already in place. But the point we want to make is they must be certified. There are industry standards in other countries that must be in place. If they are certified, it gives us some comfort that, when it comes to hacking, for example, the minimum, protective framework is in place. But currently, the aggregators are not certified, and so we are moving to that stage.
Moving on to other stories, customs officials in the Ashanti region have recovered about 1 million Ghana cedis in duties and taxes that the state could have lost this month alone. Now, this was after officials impounded 5 trucks of smuggled high-duty food products and electronic gadgets in Kumasi. The move could be described as welcoming and timely as government moves to deepen tax compliance to make up for the tax reliefs granted businesses. ACP Kwesi Ahiakpo is regional commander of the Customs Division of the Ghana Revenue Authority.
Customs officials of the Kumasi unit say 3 trucks loaded with vegetable cooking oil were diverted from the Aflao-Konokrom transit route to a warehouse on the Barakesi-Kumasi road. They were running from almost 100,000 Ghana cedis in duties and taxes. ACP Kwesi Ahiakpo is regional commander of Customs, Excise and Preventive Unit of the Ghana Revenue Authority.
One of the trucks had a foreign registration from La Côte d'Ivoire and 2 Ghanaian registration. So we had to send a second task force. When we got in there, they realized one of the trucks had parked, and there were 2 light trucks parked by the side closely, and they were lifting gallons of trade key cooking oil, 25 liters per gallon, onto the light trucks whilst they were offloading others into the warehouse. So the task forces closed in on them. As for the documents, there was no documentation, nothing to be produced, and one of the vehicles decided to speed off, and we had to chase for at least after about a kilometer before we intercepted it and brought it back. So yes, it is true, these 3 articulated trucks were carrying cooking oil, very expensive, high-duty items. We have to redouble our efforts, and we are not going to allow these loopholes. We have to, as much as possible, try and seal all these loopholes. But I can tell you, cooking oil, big money.
3 trucks.
3 trucks. If I should attempt it, I do not think it will get anything less than 60,000 Ghana on one. Yeah, that is just duties before imposition of penalty.
The unit also seized about 77,000 Ghana cedis worth of electronic and household goods. Officials say these operatives paid 8,000 instead of 69,000 Ghana cedis in taxes. Mr. Ahiakpo says huge penalties will be slapped on them to discourage the practice.
So that one in all, maybe the state should have had between 75 and 78,000 Ghana, but the state got 8,000 or barely, 8, not up to 9. So we are going to redeem that. So
meanwhile, the unit also seized 7 luxury cars believed to be part of some missing fleet of vehicles at the seat of government.
Vehicles. If you've bought a vehicle 60,000 euros and you cannot pay duty, why don't you buy Tico, Akola, so that you can pay the duty? But those vehicles, I should think that you will not pay anything less than maybe 50, 60,000. Yeah.
For each?
For each. Hey.
He spoke of measures to seal loopholes on the Kumasi transit routes.
The rate of compliance to inquiring, cross-checking before buying vehicles in Kumasi, in fact, has increased tremendously, and I'm very happy. You can glean an amount of naivety, but ignorance of the law is no excuse. Once you appoint him an agent, he becomes your alter ego and vicarious liability. He's working for you, and you employed him. Yes, he is your declarant. So if he is, I hold you.
Prince Apia reporting.
And back to Accra. Return to the fundamentals of businesses, placing customer needs above customer delight if you want to sustain your business in today's rapidly changing business environment. That's the advice coming from the Executive Director of Toyota Ghana, Eric Darko. Many businesses in the country, according to him, now concern themselves with delighting customers with freebies like branded pens, among others, at the expense of the real needs of the customers. But Mr. Darko says business is better off with the other way round. He spoke with Joy Business after delivering a lecture organized by the Chartered Institute of Marketing Ghana.
These days, there are a lot of corporate institutions that try to add extras to customers as and when they come for products and services. But then we realize that even though these things are done, they are done at the expense of customers not getting exactly what they need. So basically, customer expectations are not met. Meanwhile, we are adding things in the name of delighting customers. So the basic point we are bringing out is that before you attempt delighting customers, the starting point is that do things that will make the customer satisfied. Meet customer expectation first before you consider delighting.
So essentially, you should know what the customer wants.
Exactly. So as part of the presentation, we brought up an issue that have a better relationship with the customer, know the customer, and understand exactly what the customer wants so that you'll be able to meet him better instead of trying to throw things on to the customers. Satisfaction is the basics for business. Without satisfaction of customer, the customer will look elsewhere. So for us, customer satisfaction is the basics for all businesses. And we believe that if you're able to satisfy your customer better, definitely you're able to retain the customer. And then with better satisfaction, these customers end up going out telling other people. So they become advocates of your products and services. So satisfaction is the basis for business growth.
But this delight you talk about, what are some of this delighting the customer that you've identified that you think shouldn't be prioritized over the satisfaction?
Yeah, this delight we are talking of has to do with giving extras. For instance, somebody comes to service his car at Toyota, and then before you leave, we are giving you a Toyota pen. Giving the Toyota pen will make the customer happy. But the bottom line is that make sure that you are fixing the customer problem for him in the best possible way, that he will not be coming back. If without that, even if you give him the pen, he will not be happy. But if you satisfy that aspect of the customer first, then you can add any other thing to it.
Now, Multimedia Group and Invest in Africa, IIA, have signed an MOU in Accra to support small and medium-scale enterprises in the country. It is expected that IIA and Multimedia will push for policy dialogue on local content and the promotion of SME competitiveness in Ghana, share applicable lessons of SME development and good business practices from the African partner pool, as well as leverage existing networks to build capacity and promote the transfer of knowledge and skills to local businesses from the business linkage programs.
Invest in Africa, IIA, a cross-sector partnership of companies with the vision to create thriving African economies, has been set up to give businesses access to skills, finance, and new markets. This is done through its key initiatives, the African Partner Pool, an online business platform that connects international companies to quality validated local businesses. Another initiative of the IIA is the Business Excellence Program, which is to build businesses to become more competitive. On behalf of Multimedia, the Chief Operating Officer for Radio and Digital Media, Echikwam, said the time had come for the media to do more to support the growth of industries through such partnerships. On his part, the Ghana manager of IIA, Sam Branfo, pointed out his outfit's vision to empower local businesses to grow the Ghanaian economy and address major challenges which have led to 3 out of 5 SMEs often failing after 2 years of operation, as statistics have shown. The Multimedia Group joins a cross-sector group of partners that the IIA is currently working with, which includes Newmont Mining, Talo Ghana, AB and David Law, GE, Millennium Development Authority, EcoBank, UT Bank, Guinness Ghana, EY, GIPC, Modec Ghana, Societe Generale, AGI, AFDB, GIPC, and FMO.
Now, telecom giant MTN says it will be partnering local app firms in the coming months to boost the industry. Chief Marketing Officer of MTN, Asha Khan, believes the local tech industry has the potential to come up with innovative ways of tackling issues concerning Ghana's socio-economic development. Speaking to Joy Business at the awards ceremony of MTN App Challenge version 4, Asha Khan says his outfit is committed to ensuring that the local tech industry remains highly competitive in the world.
The MTN App Challenge is aimed at identifying and training local app developers so they could develop locally relevant mobile applications. Award winners range from participants from the senior high school and tertiary levels. Chief Marketing Officer of MTN, Asha Khan, revealed to Joy Business MTN will be rolling out programs in the coming months to help the local tech industry in Ghana grow.
The next step, of course, is where we are planning to take some of these winners and some of these top apps and help them go through their whole commercialization cycle also. I think there's a lot of potential, and we have seen some very good apps coming out of Ghana. Some of them have come out from our earlier versions of Apps Challenge and some on their own. However, we see a lot of room of development. Some of the international apps which are out there, which we all use on the daily basis, they are definitely helping the economy. However, the peculiar challenges and the peculiar opportunities that exist in the country, for that you need local developers, and that's the focus of this event and this whole program.
The awards night saw the Presbyterian Boys Senior High School, PRESEC, win an award for coming up with an app called Red Button, which is aimed at improving emergency medical services in the country. All three participants spoke with Joy Business.
We entered the challenge because we thought it was an opportunity, actually, to make something for society. So we decided to make our Red Button app, which was an emergency service to help them, people who are in trouble or people who have something to report to. Like, it's like another 911, as he said in the video. That it's like a 911 by an advanced one on mobile devices. It's a quick access. It has widgets, it has instant receiving to the person using the receiver, like the policeman or a fire service personnel.
They do an advanced version of it and then go just not concentrate on emergency services, but other problems that the society faces.
Which government try to support us with maybe training programs, and more concern should be more ICT in this country should be looked at more seriously.
The MTN Apps Challenge version 4.0 honors the most innovative digital product developers in Ghana.
And we say congratulations to the PRESEC boys. Now, in 2012, two telecom engineers, Siddiq Issa and Eliklim Asenaya, lost their keys coincidentally. Their experiences opened up an opportunity in locksmith services for them. Today, they have established their own business, fixing locks, making keys, and installing security systems. They like to be referred to as the key doctors. Here's their story in a repeat of the Joy Business van.
We were both engineers, and we had been engineers since we were employed.
Yes, we were all in the network group. Actually, he was doing...
I was into transmission.
Okay, and I was into core networking.
Siddiq Issa and Eliklim Sanaya looking back at their days as telecom engineers. They can afford to laugh over it because today they are pursuing another profession they are more passionate about. Siddiq and Eliklim lost their keys around the same time 5 years ago. Yes, they lost their keys in separate incidents, and however bizarre that may sound, the struggle of retrieving their keys got them thinking, this could be a business we can start. Then they started to research and make enquiries.
What we did was that, upon our discovery, we decided to buy 1 or 2 tools, and then we were running from our car booth. So initially we were doing it for friends and family. It wasn't like a business, actually. So in the weekend, you take your tool, you help a friend with a spare key. That was it. That's how we started.
What was perhaps the motivating factor for Siddiq and Eliklim was the fact that growth in their corporate jobs had stalled.
It didn't become interesting anymore. We wanted new challenges, new opportunities. And we saw, after running this since 2012 to 2014, we realized, okay, there's a very huge market for this. If we pursue this full time, it will give us that happiness that we desire to see in our lives.
Eliklim and Siddiq eventually quit their jobs to pursue this full-time.
So for 3 years, you were trying to be sure whether to come and do it full-time or not. So each time that the topic comes up, you have to kind of defend why you want to leave this place. And each time you have to defend why you think there's an opportunity for good. And we also realized that for 3 years that we were not here full-time, the business wasn't growing. Because there were two struggles. There were times when the customer will want to come here, but you had to work, and you can't meet the customer, and there's nobody here to help the customer. So it was at one point in 2015, actually, as you said, when the corporate restructuring in corporate came, it was also an opportunity for us to say that, okay, we've done enough of this and enough of the frustrations over there, so we want to walk away and come and do this thing full time.
Elsewhere, there's really a developed market for locksmithing. In Ghana, most of the locksmiths operate in the tabletop or by the wayside. Key Doctors is currently dominating the market with their prompt quality service and their strong online presence. But what works most for them, though, is their strong partnership.
Actually trying to make it work because we try and put our sentiments, our emotions aside, and then we try to get it working. For me, I think I see myself as mostly the positive type, and then Ellie is also quite critical. So he's a critic, and then whenever I bring him more ideas, each time I wake up, I want us to try something new. But then he will analyze and tell you that, Charlie, this one is good, all right, but maybe if we can do it this way, we might want to take a second look at it, and then it will be much more beneficial. I think once or twice that has actually helped us and helped this business, because I'm sure we would have fallen into some pits by now, left to me alone.
The Key Doctors have found the key to the entrepreneurial success, but they do not want to leave it just at that.
The future looks very bright, and for us, because we learned the very difficult way, we want to make things very easier for those coming in or the unemployed youth. We're planning to set up a training school in the future where we'll be able to train young guys and possibly set them up into business. That will also enable us to gradually take out the bad guys in the system who leverage on this business to do bad things.
All right, so you catch the Joy Business Fund every Wednesday on Business Life with a repeat on Thursdays on the Marketplace. And it's a wrap for the Marketplace this afternoon. Many thanks for your company. My name is Emmanuel Boaji. Join us again tomorrow.